Hello?
Hello, Peter. Michael Piker here.
Hi, Peter. Bill here.
John just joined. I can't get on the actual Google Meet, so I called in. I keep getting an error.
I just resent you the link if you wanted to try one more time. I just got your email. Okay.
Yeah, it starts to load the camera page and everything, and my camera's all on. Everything's connected. It says getting ready. You'll be able to join. Let me see if I can just join. Oh, nope. I actually connected for a second. Now it says, "Oh snap! Something went wrong. Status access violation."
Huh. I don't know why it's doing that. Maybe.
I'll restart my computer and see if that makes a difference.
Well, it does show. Are you so you called in, but you're not online, because it says that you are.
Oh. Okay. That's strange.
Yeah.
It kicked me out immediately when I pressed the join now button, and it said, "Oh snap! Something went wrong." That error message again. So I'll try restart everything.
Okay.
For the time being, I'll hang out on the call.
Okay.
think so. Is everyone ready?
Yes.
All right, we're going to call this meeting to order. As a preliminary matter, this is Peter Collins, Chair of the Lake Quinsigamond Commission. Please permit me to confirm that all members and persons anticipated on the agenda are present and can hear me. Members, when I call your name, please respond in the affirmative if you're here. Okay, so Mr. Pica.
Present, Mr. Chair, but everything you say is being repeated in an echo, like the sentence.
Okay. Hold on a second. Let me try to change that. Sorry. I don't know what's going on here.
Still there.
I think other people may have to mute their mics.
So we hit number 6.
Star six. It's still happening on my end, so hold on.
I'm going to press 6. Is that correct? To mute?
Yes, star six, I think.
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
There's still a little bit of an echo.
I'll go through and mute everyone.
Yeah.
How about that? Am I still getting an echo?
Yeah.
Hold on. Let me go back. Fucking kidding me right now. What the fuck?
All right, is that any better?
No echo.
All right. We're making progress. Okay. So, sorry about that. I don't know what's going on. One of those technology days for me. Okay, let me start over. Well, we got to the members roll call here, so we'll go through that, if that's okay with everyone. Mr. Pica, are you present?
Present, Mr. Chair. Present, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Polito,
Yes, here.
Officer Valieri,
Officer Amato's here.
oh, Officer Amato, very good. Captain Andre,
I'm on.
Mr. Nickerson,
Yes, I was finally able to join. I was having issues with the link, but I'm on my iPad now. Can you hear me?
okay. Yeah, must be in the wind.
Yeah.
Yes. All right, Miss Amory. Okay, if I mess up your name, Lisa, I apologize. Miss Labossiere?
Pretty good. It's Labossiere.
Labossiere. Okay, almost got it. Mr. Nelson.
Present.
Okay. All right. Moving on here. Jessica, you're on with us.
I am. I'm here.
Okay. And Barbara, you're also on? thought I saw you in there.
Yep, I'm on. Sorry, I was muted.
Okay, Jacqueline?
I am here.
Okay. I think that's it for speakers, right? Who are going to present? If I didn't call you on any commission members, which I think I called everybody, but please let me know. So good evening. This is an open meeting of the Lake Quinsigamond Commission is being conducted remotely, consistent with the governor's orders, executive order of March 12, 2020, due to the current state of emergency in the Commonwealth due to the outbreak of the COVID-19 virus. In order to mitigate the transmission of the COVID-19 virus, we have been advised and directed by the Commonwealth to suspend public gatherings, and as such, the governor's order suspends the requirement of the open meeting law to have all meetings in a publicly accessible physical location. Further, all members of public bodies are allowed and encouraged to participate remotely. The order, which you can find posted with the agenda materials for this meeting, allows public bodies to meet entirely remotely so long as reasonable public access is afforded to the public so that the public can follow along with the deliberations of the meeting. Please remember to speak clearly and in a way that helps generate accurate minutes. We are recording this call. After your presentation, members of the board committee will be given the opportunity to ask questions. We're not going to have a public hearing tonight, so we don't have to worry about that. But anytime that I recognize someone from the audience, I would just ask that you state your name and address so that we know it for the record. So that's good. First thing I want to do is that we have a new member, Lisa Bossiere. I'm going to keep messing that up. I'll get it right at some point. So Lisa, I want to welcome you aboard. Thank you for stepping up. Is there anything you'd like to say regarding this? Introduce yourself.
Well, thank you for having me. I guess the seat in Worcester has been vacant for quite a while.
Yeah.
I did actually sit on the Parks Commission for the city of Worcester for 6 years, so I'm familiar with the format. I am a lake resident. I live on, it's actually Bridle Path. And I'm just excited to get involved, and hopefully I can be of service.
All right. Thank you very much. I'm sure you'll be helpful, and we welcome your input, and I hope you enjoy this. So moving on to the regular agenda here, I just want to did we have meetings, Jessica? I didn't read them. So if we got the
No, I'm a little bit behind. I'll have to get them to you for the next meeting.
No worries. It kind of makes me feel a little bit better because I don't remember reading them. So that's good. The review and approval of bills and expenses. Do we have anything going on this month? Did we spend any money? Get any money in?
I don't believe so, no. I have nothing for the bills.
All right. Very good. So move on to commissioners' reports. My report, I'll start off, is essentially the, not quite a switch, I guess, went off, but the lake has got significantly less active since our last meeting. Fortunately, the weather's remained really, really nice for the most part all throughout the season here. So it's still pretty nice outside tonight. And so that's good. And we have had some activity. Sunday was fairly busy on the lake, but all in all, the activity is pretty much slowed down. So that's been a good thing. I still would like to, let people know that, there is still a fair amount of folks going out there, and that, you still need to be cautious and safe and all that, and follow the rules. The other thing I'm going to mention too, and Kyle may bring this up, but most of the marker buoys have been removed. I know that the ones by the Burns Bridge are still there, and I just wanted to give everyone the heads up that those things aren't there. So you need to be careful when you're driving around the lake and for the low spots and the danger spots. So I'm hoping that the people that know the lake will be aware of that, especially the beaches at Browning Beach and Lake Park Beach are both very, very shallow spots. In between Drake Island, that little island, I forgot the name of it, over on the southern shore of Edgemere. That's also a very shallow spot, as well as there's a shallow spot right at the cove where the South Cove condos are for Cana Drive in Shrewsbury. So please beware. And Shrewsbury Bay. So be aware of that there are spots out there, and to do your best to stay clear of them. And that's going to be my report for now. I got some other stuff going on, but they'll come in conjunction with some other things. Mr. Pica, what say you?
Mr. Chair, Michael Pica here. Not much of a report, Mr. Chair, other than the weeds are mature. I concur. The lake activity is markedly down. It was kind of like an encore of people this past Saturday and Sunday, during the last potentially good weather of the season. I did see some of the eagles as recently as last week. They still appear to be around. Other than that, Mr. Chair, I did take in the slow, no wake buoy to the gap to the Half Moon Cove a week or so ago. Excuse me, but I placed it right on the shore, so frankly you can still see it. It's quite visible, and I'll put it out again next spring. Other than that, at this time, Mr. Chairman, that's my report. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Pica. Officer Amato.
Hi, it's Officer Amato, Shrewsbury PD. As you stated, the safety buoys, the majority of them have been removed. I think we're going to remove the rest of them tomorrow or Friday. Also, the boat will remain in the water till approximately the end of October, but that will be just for emergencies only. And that's pretty much all I have.
Okay. Question: when you took them out, you didn't do any numbering or anything like that?
We did.
Oh, you did?
Yes, we did number them. We were talking about possibly adding. Yep. We were possibly talking about adding a second buoy to the North Quinsig boat ramp area for the slow no wake.
Oh yeah. Yep.
But we did number them. They'll all go back in the same spot next year.
I think that's going to be extremely helpful to everyone involved. I like the idea of having an additional buoy at Corazini. I think I'm the only one that actually slows down when I go in front of that thing. But I think one of the issues with that too is that no one really sees them because they're not in the middle. And but I would ask anyone who's watching this too, if you go by the Corazini ramp, please go down to no wake when you go by it, because if you're trying to launch your boat on that ramp, either coming in or going out, waves make it way more challenging and way more dangerous for the people on there. So that's why there's a no wake buoy there, so that people can launch the boat safely. Great. Is that it, Mr. Officer Amato?
Yes, that's it.
All right, thank you. Captain DeAndre.
I don't have anything, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, thanks, Captain. Mr. Polito.
No report.
All right, thanks. Thank you. Mr. Nickerson.
I do not have a report.
All right, thank you. It sounds like Amanda's on here unless she came on when we were goofing around. Lisa, do you have probably not, right?
No, I don't. If I have issues though, to get them on the agenda, how do I go about that?
Just give me or Jessica a call. If you have any issues, call me.
Okay.
And I will, did I send you my phone number?
I believe so.
I will do that. Okay,
believe
so
so.
yeah, don't hesitate to call me, Lisa, for any issues at all. So
Okay, great.
I'm glad to
Thank you.
help you out. Same thing if you want to get on the agenda, or you have an item you want to get on the agenda, and you know.
I do have an item.
You do have an item?
I do.
Chairman Collins, I am here.
Oh, hey, I'll circle right around to you. Yeah. So, is it? I guess just let me know what I guess you can do a report around that if you want. And if it's something we need to vote on, we'll have to put on the agenda for next month, just so we give people time to know that we're going to do it. But certainly want to know. Go ahead. So go ahead.
It's not a voting issue. It's more of an information, wondering where to go, what to do. A new property owner is having some issues with neighbors who have docks on their property.
Okay. You know what we'll do? Let's take that offline.
Okay.
And we'll, we can talk about it, and we can go look at it.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Does that make sense?
Yep,
Right, you bet.
absolutely.
All right. Ms. Amory, how are you? Do you have a report?
It's just an informal report. I took a site walk at a property on Lake Ave. I think it's like 275. Does that sound familiar to people? It's
Yes.
a property.
Lake Ave North.
It's very steep. Yeah, Lake Ave North, and it's very steep.
Yep.
And the Conservation Commission took a site walk out there, and we're looking at how they are going to pull out certain vegetation and what vegetation they're leaving in. They want to preserve the embankment so that it doesn't disturb the slope quality or the stability of the slope. And that took place about a week ago. There's a couple of other properties that the Conservation Commission is looking at and that are up for review. And beyond that, I don't have more information for you.
Okay, just a quick question about the 275 North Lake Ave. The property is the property that abuts the lake? Or the
Yes,
property
it is.
Okay, and is that city land?
It is not city land.
That land belongs to the 275 Lake Ave?
Okay, so there is a property that used to be a restaurant years ago, Four Seasons. It's being subdivided and they're creating.
Oh, okay, Four Seasons. Yep, yeah. That's Lake Ave. Okay, I got it. Yep.
Yep. And so there's a steep embankment there, and they're trying, the proponents are trying to manage the vegetation there without destabilizing the embankment.
Okay, gotcha. All right. Okay. So you'll keep us updated.
I will get you more information. I will try to email that to you as soon as I can.
All right, I appreciate it. Perfect. Mr. Nelson.
Okay, just a couple of comments.
Yep.
Since the weather is still nice, the Quinsigamond Rowing Club is still rowing singles. Now that it's dark and early in the morning, lights are now required on them. They have not switched to the cold water rules yet, which require a minimum of 2 people in singles at the same time. That's about everything I have to say what's going on at the rowing club, but I do have a question. Has anyone seen any of or caught any of those new northern pike that came from New Jersey and were put in the lake last month?
New Jersey.
I have not caught or seen any. I know that there was a kind of a little mini fishing tournament this weekend, and I spoke to one of the gentlemen. And that's a new kind of vessel that's been on the lake this year. It's the kayak fishing, the kayak fishing boat.
Yeah, I mean, here I have been fishing, but I have not caught any such fish.
Yeah, but these guys, I saw some kayak fishing people. The boats are really cool, actually. They're all rigged, but but that's what they were fishing for. They were fishing for the pike. They knew it was there, and they came down to do it. I don't know if the whole tournament was doing that, because some of the other boats were like, you know, regular motorized bass boats, but these gentlemen were specifically there to go after the pike. So interesting. I thought we had a bunch of pike in the lake. I didn't know we need more.
Big enough to keep.
Yeah, I get, well, the 12 inches already. So how big do you get with one? Those things get big. They're like prehistoric when they're grown.
Yeah, 3 feet or more.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Hey, a question on the rowing. So you said that you have to have 2 people in a single. Is that?
No, you have
Does
to
that
have
make it a
2
double?
singles. You can only put
Oh, you have to
one
have
in a
2 singles together. You
so
can't go out alone anymore
you
after
can't go out
cold
alone
weather.
anymore.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. That's a good safety thing.
Yeah, that goes under the name, the rubric. If you've heard people talk about the 4-oar rule, there has to be at least 4 oars in the water. That allows 2 singles, a double, or anything bigger.
Okay, all right. Is it 4 oars because you need the flotation or something, or?
That's just the easiest way to say it, so it's true for all types of boats without having to list the different type of boats separately.
Okay, I get you. So, all right, all right. I was just curious about that. Okay, so that's good. So that's go through that. First item on the regular agenda is the budget, and not much has changed there actually, because I still have some work to do, and to kind of get that ready for next season. And next season I'm going to go to the lake management plan. The lake management plan in terms of vegetation, we'll start with that part of it. And first thing off is Newton Pond. So Newton Pond, we're going through the permit process right now for the chemical treatment of the Eurasian milfoil, and I think there's also fanwort in Newton Pond. So it's similar to what's going on here at the lake, and we will, we will go through that permit process from now to the spring, and hopefully, if everything goes all right, and the conservation commissions in both Boylston and Shrewsbury approve our plan, then we can move forward and treat Newton Pond for weeds. We're not going to be able to get. Unfortunately, I was hoping to be able to get the drawdown permits done, but that's going to take a little bit more work. So it's going to take a little bit longer. I'm going to start that process in parallel with the chemical treatments as well. But we have to get some more studies done about the makeup of the pond and whatnot in order to do the drawdown. And the drawdowns are becoming a little bit more tricky or challenging, because the guidance, there's some studies out there that say that the drawdown doesn't necessarily help, and so I think some people on the state side are taking that into consideration now. So they're kind of making us do some more stuff. So that kind of pushes back a little bit, and this happens during these kind of processes. So we'll keep circling around and hitting it like a pike, and. We also found, Barbara actually found right across West Main Street in a culvert there. I can never remember the name, or I'm not confident that I know that the name of this pond. I'm going to call it Mud Pond, but it's the pond that's right across West Main Street on the northern end of the lake from, you go by the Gouch Park, and you go underneath the culvert there, and that pond in there, and there was water chestnut in there. And Barbara, I believe, she can correct me if I'm wrong, picked all that she could get at down there. For those of you who are not familiar with water chestnut plant, the wild water chestnut plant, it is an extremely invasive, aggressive plant, and left unchecked, it will, take over a body of water. And I've seen it happen. I've seen the result of it when it's up there. It is a mess. And basically, the most effective way to deal with it is to pick it. So, and this is a seed-based plant, so you can get away with that. I think the pictures I saw from Barbara that the nut was actually still on it. The seed was still on it, so we got that out of there. Once the seed gets in the sediment, there's not much you can do at that point, unless you dove down and dug for it. But I think it looked like we got most of the seeds out, the plants that they found. But that's something we have to keep an eye on. I found 2 years ago when we did a weed survey with ESS, we also found water chestnut in the lake proper. So we found 1 or 2 plants, and I don't know if that thing had drifted over. I believe that plant was had been grown there, but we're going to keep an eye on that because that's not good to have on there. The rest of the vegetation, besides Half Moon Cove, was fairly in good shape on the lake this year. So the places where we could treat are doing pretty well, and we're also this winter we're going to go. And confirm a schedule to have a diver go down into Half Moon Cove, survey the bottom there, get what we need to find out, and then we're going to experiment with Procyllicor, or at least go back to Natural Heritage and see if they will allow us to experiment with Procyllicor and start those treatments over there, because I know that's a problem. And as well as we're going to start with Half Moon Cove. If we're successful there, I'm hoping we can take that same strategy and go over to the cove by Sunset Beach and Old Faith Road and Stoneland Road, that little cove right in there. I forgot the name of it. And so that's also a big crop of milfoil in there, Eurasian milfoil. And we want to deal with that as well as possible. There's also I noticed a lot of tape grass or eelgrass around the lake dead on top of the water. This has been a problem like all summer, and it's really choked out some areas in front of the Lakeshore condos. I noticed it in Half Moon. There was another crop of stuff. They keep getting hit with all this kind of thing. I don't know if that stuff drifted down there from the other side of the lake, but there's places I went in Lakeshore Condo. This was probably end of July, early August. It was almost unnavigable in there. It was just very, very dense, and it was all floating on the top. It was all dead stuff with like a eelgrass kill. So that's something I've asked ESS to kind of give us some guidance on why that's happening out there. And it could be boat activity. It looks like the roots are coming right out of the plant because they seem to be attached to it. But that particular plant is native to the lake. It's indigenous to Lake Quinsigamond. So it's not something that we would actively go after and try to eradicate, because it's something that grows in the lake naturally. It's not something you wouldn't see. So we're gonna keep an eye on that though, so it doesn't get out of hand. And the management plan in terms of public safety and law enforcement. Again, I want to shout out to Shrewsbury and Worcester PD, and I don't think anyone from the state's watching, but I want to thank you again for the efforts that you get out there. I know it was overwhelming. I know it was a very stressful thing. I know no one was happy, so it wasn't. It was never like good news. But I really appreciate the efforts you guys do and the challenges you have to face out there. I think we all do in the commission. So we all appreciate it, and especially towards the end of the summer, the last few weeks, it really picked up. And we got a lot of comments from residents on the positive side, which was great, because all summer, all I heard was people saying like, what's going on? And, we got to do something about this. And towards the end of it, they're out there doing something about it. So thank you very much for that. We'll continue to work on that next year. We hope we can get some more resources to do that, at least from the Shrewsbury side. The chief told me that his plan really was to have more trained officers for the boat. I think he's doing that department-wide anyway. He's got a great plan about how he's going to do policing, and in terms of training and community policing and using technology and communications and social media. So I'm excited about what he has in mind. I think he's got he's doing the right things. So that's all good. And updating the rules of the lake, I'm going to send an email out. I would like to start another subcommittee. We did this before. I would like to get, a couple of members of the Lake Quinsigamond Commission, a member of law enforcement from either Worcester, Shrewsbury, or both would be fine. And some stakeholders from maybe someone from the watershed and someone from the rowing side of things. And if we have anyone from there's a fisherman out there, I'd like to talk to you about this too. So we'll probably try to meet a couple of times over the off season or between now and February, and work out some stuff and try to establish some an update to the rules, and just to make sure we're doing all the things we can do within our ability to do things like that. So I hope we can get some people. If anyone's interested in it, please let me know. Again, I'll send out an email similar to the list that this goes out into. The list for the meeting. So that is pretty much my update. Is there any questions or discussions or anything that the commissioners would like to talk about? Not seeing them jumping up and down, so that's good. All right. So then we can move up on to an update from Jacqueline Burmeister. So lakes and ponds, how do we look out there, Jacqueline?
Things are looking pretty good. Oh, yeah, I am unmuted.
Yep,
I can
there you go.
share real quickly. All right, so I was last out on Lake Quinsigamond yesterday, actually, but the data I have in here is from my previous sampling event on the 15th and 17th of September. The water temperature is still fairly high in the lake, about 70.3 degrees in the middle. And I do have some more recent data from the monitoring buoys that I'll show you in a second, which is pretty exciting. Oxygen levels are high, so at the surface, the fish should be good there. Those pikes should be feeling pretty good. Our E. coli samples, again, we did have discussions at the previous Watershed Association meetings about some of the challenging areas in the along the edges in the inlets of Lake Quinsigamond, the brooks and the culverts that empty into the lake. However, the last E. coli sample I took in the middle of the lake and the northern portion showed lower levels or almost no levels of E. coli. We're also seeing very low levels of phosphorus in the lake itself. So that's all good news. Usually we see higher levels of phosphorus at the bottom of the lake, and then we're wondering if we'll see those. We're hoping to be out there later this year to see if when the lake turns, some of that phosphorus comes up to the surface. That's one of the reasons why we have these buoys now, to see how the temperature changes over the course of the season affect how the lake circulates nutrients from the bottom of the lake, and if that's going to affect our cyanobacteria. So we recently acquired a new boat for Lake Quinsigamond. The Lakes and Ponds program will now be able to see more of the lake when we go out there to do our sampling. We could go out there more frequently, check on these buoys. So that's just all like very exciting developments in what we're going to be able to monitor at the lake. As far as the profiles, we are continuing to see stratification occur in the profile of the lake. Even through September, we were seeing oxygen deprivation in early September at 23 feet, which is the same pattern that we really saw last year. but it just means that during September, there's still very little room for fish. At the surface, they should be fine since the temperature, but as they move further down the water column, they have a little bit less space during these months. I wanted to show you really quickly some of the data that we're collecting from the monitors. We have one monitor out there, the continuous monitoring device is out there right now in the southern portion. We'll do some, and the second monitoring device in the northern portion of the lake is actually in for repairs, so you won't see that at the northern buoy. That should be coming back to us fairly soon, but the buoy in the southern portion of the lake is fully functional and is giving us data in real time. It's really exciting. This is some temperature data from 9/21, September 21st, until today at around 2 o'clock. So at the surface, we see that there is a lot of variation in the temperature. This could be helpful for, I got requests from the rowing community already looking to know when, we hit that surface temperature of 50 degrees, I believe, when they need to change the way that they row as far as for safety, just because the water is so much colder. But for right now, we're still close to 70 degrees during the daytime. So the water's still quite warm. Another thing that I mentioned we're monitoring on those buoys are pigment related to algal blooms. Right now, we're seeing very low levels of pigment at the lower site. So the green line here is phycocyanin. Those are the pigments associated with cyanobacteria specifically. And we're seeing that we're having close to none of those. And we're seeing this very interesting diurnal pattern to the chlorophyll pigments, which are pigments that you would find in both blue-green algae and regular non-harmful algae. So we're seeing some fluctuations in that due to sunlight, but this pattern seems healthy and normal. We're going to continue to watch it in real time to see if, as the water cools and we see that mixing occur, if we see any spikes in that green line, that would suggest that maybe we're having some cyanobacteria. So this is really exciting. These increments, this data is collected every 15 minutes. And one more update about those buoys, is we've had some concerns about them not being visible and being kind of out in the middle of the lake. So this week, I know I said we were going to do it sooner, but it's been taking some time to get all the parts necessary. We are going to illuminate the buoys with some solar powered lights so that at least the navigation buoys, so that anyone who's out rowing early in the morning or paddle boarding or swimming or whatever, when it's still a little bit dark out, will be able to see them. And they'll be in through November or whenever there's the threat of freezing. Does anyone have any questions?
Well, just one quick comment. The rule the rowing community uses for temperature is sort of universal, and it's when the sum of the water temperature and the air temperature go below 100.
Okay, great. I believe, so if there's any temperature threshold that you want me to look out for water temperature, just let me know and I could let you, yeah, I realize there's more of a formula to it than that, but if there is like a specific water temperature you want, then we could do that for you too. Any other questions? All right, I'll keep it short for you. That is what I have.
Jacqueline, thanks. I do have one question, not to sound like Columbo here. Is there any, have you guys done, we're seeing some significant and consistent exceedances at bacterial levels by the Whitler area there in the South Bay. Is the city tested down there? Do you know of it all? Are they getting the same thing we're getting?
So I am not, I was going to reach out to our SHU department to see the last time that because they test there periodically, but it's not as often as you all have tested there. So I'll reach out to them and see. But what we are going to do at Lakes and Ponds is we are planning on taking a bacteria biomarker sample to see if we could figure out what is the actual source of it. Is it human or is it whatever? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That'd be a helpful. You can't. It won't tell you. It won't tell you who did it, right? Just if it's human or. All right.
Yeah. No, we won't be able to trace it back to the home.
Okay. All right. So that's probably a relief to a bunch of people out there at the lake. All right. So that's good. Thank you. And moving right along from the Lake Quinsigamond Watershed Association. Is that you tonight, Barbara? You get?
Yes, it is. I just wanted to ask.
The head honcho?
Yeah, I guess I'm the only one standing. Jackie, could you speak to where we stand with the MET grant? Do you want to update people on that, or you want to wait till next month? And the work we're doing with the fishermen survey?
Oh, absolutely. So last December, the city got together with 3 of the big watershed associations, including Lake Quinsigamond Watershed Association, Patnack Brook, and Indian Lake, to work on a project about fisheries. This is something previously the watershed associations had not worked on a collaborative project before, but one thing that all those, and all those water bodies are different, right? They have their own needs, but everyone has fish and everyone has anglers, and everyone's watershed association could benefit from an increased participation by anglers. And so outreach was one of the things we were really hoping to accomplish, as well as understanding the relationship between fish and water quality and how they affect each other and how that's changed over time. And if there are projects that we can do that would address water quality, that would also improve fisheries and fish populations in Worcester as an effort to promote more recreational fishing. So we applied for this grant. We unfortunately did not get it, but most of the most beneficial portions of the grant actually are fairly cheap and could be done by the watershed association. So we're in the process now of planning how we can engage more with anglers, and there will be a small research portion that the city will fund to put together historical survey data done by DEP and by Fish and Wildlife, trying to piece together a history over the last however many years these surveys were done, to try and as well as our water quality data, to see if we could kind of tell a story about something like a smelt run and what happened to that, and other changes in those fish populations. So we're gonna work on, that's gonna be a small portion of it. And then the other portion is going to be, we did this big survey and we got like over 250 anglers to report on their fishing in Worcester lakes and ponds, including Lake Quinsigamond, and what their perceptions are, what they see as important, and reaching out to them and bringing them in to do programming with them and the watersheds. And so I'm working with the other watershed associations to, and Fish and Wildlife, to maximize our opportunity with those contacts that we've made through that survey. Do you have anything else you wanted to add, Barbara?
No, thank you. One of the items, am I echoing? One of the items we want to do next spring is maybe it will be next fall, is a fishing derby. I think that was something that Jacqueline had brought up. So that's exciting. It's also an important issue on Lake Quinsigamond because of environmental justice issues. The people who fish on the lake are locals. They don't have other places to go and fish. and they're here a lot, and I think it's a really important subgroup of people that use the lake that we need to reach out to, and they have been forgotten. So I'm very happy that Jacqueline had this idea. So it's very exciting. So I wanted to also say that October 3rd, this Saturday, is Shrewsbury Town Cleanup, and we have a few volunteers to help clean up at Oak Island. We need some more, so if anybody is interested in helping out, people will be there about 8 o'clock, definitely by 9 o'clock to help clean up at Oak Island. And we'll also have a person at Gauche Park, which is very good condition. Gauche Park, the neighbors and the people who use it, a lot of fishermen, keep that area quite clean. But we'll do a little raking, and but Oak Island could use some people if anybody has a little bit extra time. We caught everybody up on the catch basin marking that we did in August, and we're hoping to do another round. We're waiting to get a list from the town of Shrewsbury to expand on that, and also some Newton Pond people. There's a group there that wants to do some storm drain marking there, so we're ready to go and do another Saturday. We would like to get the new member of the commission who lives on Bridle Path. We'd love to get some neighbors and some abutters over there in the Watershed Association. That would be awesome, and maybe we can get a group. We'd like to get a group to go to Worcester, do the Worcester side, and do some storm drain marking there as well. So both the city and the town have said they would supply, paint and whatnot, glue or whatever to do the markers, and if we get the people. So we're looking for more volunteers for that. And then let's see, very quickly, I want to see if I can share my screen. I thought I had present now. Is this what it is? I want to show that maybe I can't do it. Show our results of I don't know, maybe I don't have the ability to do it. Present now. Okay, let me see. Okay, and let's see. Okay, can people see that?
No.
You can't. I can't.
Cannot? Okay.
I cannot.
Yes.
I'll tell you some kind of weird technology vibes going on here.
All right. So I was trying to share screen one, and I have two screens, so it's probably complicating things. All right, I won't delay. I will just read to you what I see. Our seasonal or summer help, Gia Coleman, who has a full-time job now. She's busy tonight, couldn't be on the call, but she has summarized all of the data that we've collected over the summer for the bacteria sampling at the tributaries, and she'll have more of a full report in October or November meeting. We need to finish it for DEP for the grant that we received. We'll have to submit it to them by mid-November at the latest. But I wanted to just to reinforce what Peter said, which for the Whitla pumping station, we had our September 8th sampling round. We have a hit of 12,396, and the units are colony forming units per 100 ml. So the geometric mean is about 1,800. And just as a reminder, the geometric mean is supposed to be 126 with no single exceedance above 235. So we've had a consistent problem there since the end of June. We've also had a lot of problems at Fitzgerald Brook, which is just south of Maduka's and the Marine Corps League. Billings Brook also been problematic above the geomean. Billings Brook is at Eaglehead Cove on the Shrewsbury side, and also at the Belmont Street outfall under Route 9, also above the geomean. So those 4 locations have been pretty problematic all summer. So we'll be submitting the data and the information to the city and the town to see if we can do any further investigation, particularly at Whitla Pumping Station. And that's it. Are there any questions?
Hey, Barb, I have a question. On the, at Belmont Street, for example, is that something that's happening all the time, or is it just after a rain event? You know,
It's not.
what?
Yeah. It's more rain. It's not consistent. It seems to be more after a rain event.
Okay, but Whitler and Fitzgerald, that's kind of a constant rain event or not.
Right.
12,000. Right. That's a lot.
That's a lot.
That's disturbing. So, but that reading's actually done in the stream upstream from the actual lake. Yes, or is that done?
No, she samples right at the culvert, right at Lake Ave. So she parks at Lake Ave and goes down that embankment, and it's up from the lake.
At Whitler or at Belmont Street?
I said Fitzgerald Brook. I thought you asked about
Fitzgerald. Okay, so Fitzgerald, she's doing it right at Lake Ave. Where's she doing it at Whitler?
Whitler is also right at the culvert as it comes out above the. Yeah.
So that's not a reading in the lake itself. That's a reading in the stream coming into the lake, or it's above, it's upstream from the lake. Okay. All right.
And not to say that
that's crazy.
We've had some other isolated problems that say that their sources. Tilly's Brook had one, August 25th had a hit of 2,672.
Yep.
Right. But most of the rest of the time it was below the geomean and below the max of 235. But something happened there that day. And I don't know what the rain was for that event.
All right. Okay. Thank you. Is that it?
That's it.
All right.
Sorry,
thanks much. Okay. I guess we'll move on to set a date for the next meeting, unless anyone has anything else to comment on.
Can I ask a quick question?
Of course.
Going back to when you were talking about Newton Pond permitting, you said a state agency had questions about lowering the water. Do you know which state agency? Is it Fish and Wildlife, DCR, or which one?
DEP.
DEP?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, DEP.
DEP.
Yeah. They're going to, I think my understanding is that they're starting to take a deeper dive, pardon the pun, into drawdowns with, is it really necessary? And is the drawdown you're doing in the body of water you're doing it in going to be effective? We're fortunate right now because we're kind of grandfathered in with Lake Quinsigamond proper because we've been doing it. I'm not sure what will happen when we go to renew that effort, but they're looking in for more information to make sure that you're doing it for the right reasons, and that I haven't read these studies because I just found this out today, so I'm going to go back and kind of review what the studies are that they're looking at that make them see, well, maybe we should look at this a lot more stringently than we have been. And we're still pretty stringent. I mean, that's not like, we discussed this when we talked about Newton Pond, and even here on the lake, although we had a benefit of already having done it for a decade. But they really, that's a more expensive part of the process, the permitting process, than the actual chemical treatment a lot of times. It's a lot, just takes more time to do it. So that's interesting, but that's what they, because you're basically changing the natural makeup of the lake, and there's other factors that they get concerned about, which is, when you're doing it, so you're not affecting wildlife and whatnot. So, there's always been a more, they've been more careful about that. So, does that answer your question?
Yes.
All right. Thank you. Okay. So, I think I have October 28th, the day of the next meeting.
That's the last
right,
Wednesday.
Jessica?
That's right.
Okay, perfect. So we got one question is Patrick Diggins still on with us here someplace?
Yep.
Hey, Patrick, so I'm assuming there's no fall race, right? But any word on the spring for you guys?
We're hoping for the spring, but
Okay.
right now we have no way of knowing.
Okay, all right. Because usually you put you put your schedule in,
Yeah, we usually do
over
it
the next couple of months.
Yeah, we usually do it in October. I'll give you a tentative schedule. I just don't.
Okay.
We don't.
No, yeah, not a worry on. I certainly understand. Not a worry on. I was just curious to see what how you guys are making out. I hope it's comes back.
Thank you,
Peter.
So
the same answer for the Charles River. They're waiting. They don't know.
Yeah, they're not going to do the head of the Charles, though, right?
Oh no,
right
no,
now.
that's been canceled a long time.
Yeah.
It's a
Okay. That's
virtual
what I thought.
event this year. You can go to their website and find out all the details.
What's everybody on the org?
Yep.
Like, is that what it is?
They actually will have some singles the week before.
Okay.
Individual singles can row. Actually, they'll show the ones live on the Charles, but anybody who wants to do it on their own waterway anywhere and submit their times, they can.
Okay.
But there's no college racing scheduled this fall, obviously, in the Charles River Basin as well, and they're just waiting for the spring. They don't know exactly the same as Patrick said. We don't know what the conditions are going to be.
Right. So, let's hope we're in a better position at that point. Okay. That's it. I'll accept the motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Seconded.
Okay. Is there
Make a motion to
a
adjourn.
second? Okay. Got to do the roll call. So the motion's been moved and seconded. Mr. Collins, aye. Mr. Pica.
Aye.
Officer Amato.
Aye.
Okay. Captain DeAndre.
Aye.
Mr. Polito.
Aye.
Mr. Nickerson.
Aye.
Ms. Amory.
Aye.
Ms. Labossiere. Did I get it right?
Aye. You did.
All right. So that's 2 ayes. Aye, aye. Mr. Nelson.
Aye.
All right.
Thank you.
Voted. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good night.
Thank you.
Have a good night.